It's a
Oh.
not from the store. It's from the house. There are
Yeah, the guy
pets.
that gave it to me raises chickens.
They raise chickens.
Some guy gave it to you?
Guy that I work with.
Oh.
Free. So whenever I need eggs, let him know. 'Cause
I need eggs.
he says their chickens are laying so many eggs they can't keep up anymore. I said, well, stop having chickens.
Are they Filipinos?
No, he's Mexican.
Oh, give him this. And give me eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love this.
I'm not going to bring that to work to give it to anybody.
You're still.
I'm so wet. Here, well, that was nice. Yeah,
They
I
will
need
love
eggs.
that. Just trade. You don't need eggs now. Just give it them.
I'm not going to take that to work.
Give me one moment in time. Give me eggs. Give me eggs. Put this. So.
No.
Beer na lang ang katapat niya. Let's eat some side pork salad. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Hello, hello.
Yep.
Just wanna have fun.
wish I knew where the title was to my truck. I can't sell it without it.
Probably in your toolbox somewhere.
I got the registration, but I still need that title.
Title's supposed to be in the truck, right?
It's supposed to be. I looked everywhere. I don't know where it is.
When's Ron coming back here?
Oh, I don't even know. It's hard to say when that guy will come back.
He visited our old house before, right?
He would visit us if he was back here again.
Yeah.
His daughter lives in Eagle River. So, I mean,
We should go to Eagle River
yeah, well,
with him.
it'd be nice if he showed up, if he came back and visited us here, wouldn't it?
He's funny.
You know, sit out on the porch and, you know, he'd have some funny stories to tell.
About that cow.
Oh my God. Remember that story?
What?
Let's tell it again.
Oh, we know what happened to Rod. You remember Rod, right?
I guess.
You're old enough, I can tell you this.
Yeah.
He, when he was in high school, no, he wasn't even in high school, he was out of high school already. He worked on this guy's farm. He got mad at his parents, and he moved out of their house and was living in his car. But he was working on this guy's farm, and he would have to go to work at like 3:30 in the morning to get the cows milked and everything. And he was on a date with this girl, and they were getting things done in the car and everything. And all of a sudden, he realized he was running late for work, so he had to hurry up and get ready. So he put his pants back on and everything. And he runs into the barn and he's milking. All of a sudden his boss walks in, all of a sudden he seen his boss doing this. Looking at Ron weird, all of a sudden Ron looks down. He forgot to put his underwear on and the underwear slid down his pant leg. The boss thought he was doing something with his cows. And the guy at the boss just kind of turned around, disgusted, and left. Oh my God. He's different. The guy's different.
And that when his wife is dancing, he was dancing in the Juicy Girls.
Oh yeah, and his wife came in. He invited me to this. What was the name of that club again? He invited me over to a club with him, and we were drinking a beer, and all of a sudden, he gets, and his wife's in Korea. They lived together in Korea at the time. So we met. He wanted to go have a beer with me, so we went to this club, We're sitting there having a beer, and I went to talk to him, and he was gone. I'm like, where did he? And I look, and he's messing around with the juicy girl. He's got her on the pool table. He's on a chair. He's got her on a chair, and he's like messing around. He's on his knees, and stuff. And I pulled around away. I said, dude, what are you doing? I said, he goes, oh yeah, thanks, man. I get too carried away sometimes. I said, you know, your wife is here with you in Korea. And I don't know if you remember this or not. This is a Korean bar. Everybody knows everybody here. I said, stay away from those girls. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. And all of a sudden, we went back to this chair, and I'm like, geez, all I was saying, right? And I turned, he's gone again. And he's right back over there. Next thing you know, I turn, his wife's standing by the door watching this. And I'm like, oh my God. I got up and I just walked to a table and sat down. And she goes up and she's standing behind him while he's got his back to her. And he gets up, he turns around and says, he faces her and he sees his wife looking right at him. Oh, hey, Obo. And she throws the phone at him and almost hits the juicy girl in the face with it. And they got into a heck of an argument. And the next morning, or that next afternoon, I had to pick him up to go to work. So he was riding with me, and he's just staring down as we're driving, just staring down. He goes, "Gary, I woke up this morning, and I was really hoping that was just a bad dream." I'm like, "No, Ron." I said, "It's not a dream. It really happened." And he's like, he goes, maybe if I wouldn't have stood up and turned around, she wouldn't have seen me. Not feeling bad about what he did, but he was like, look, maybe you should have just wore a black wig around you. You look like a Korean dude. Really white Korean dude.
He's gonna trick his wife.
Oh, and then he wanted a divorce from his wife, and she was not going to give him a divorce. And I think he had an old car that I sold him that he was going to give to his wife. So he said, well, what he was going to do was, the title that you sign over, she was going to have her sign the title, but sneak a divorce paper. Like, Randy can't do that. Yeah, the guy he was out of control, but he was funny. Yeah, I'm surprised his ex-wife did not kill him. I ended up saying, I ended up not going back out with him. I'm like, dude, you're playing a really dangerous game, man. It's gonna catch up. You need to stop.
Still in Egypt, right?
He's in Egypt now. Married to a Filipino lady now. But she played the same game on him. She got pregnant from some Italian dude she met over there in the Philippines, and tried to tell him that was his kid. And Ron was telling me about it, and he goes, he goes, she was cheating on me, and I'm like, well, how do you know? Well, she got pregnant, and I said, okay. He goes, and she goes, it was from an Italian guy, and I said, well, you don't know that. He goes, Ron had a surgery where he can't have kids, so he goes, it can't be mine. And I said, well, Ron, I don't know what to tell you. Stop beating girls off the internet, I don't know. But he's stuck with her now. Boy, she's living the life now. You tell that kid doesn't look anything like him. But he treats him like his son. And she was really snobby, too, to everybody when she thought she was in the money now. And she was like, everybody could see it's like, dude, she is not being loyal to you. And then he was in, where did he go for a while? Afghanistan? as a contractor. And when he came back to visit us in Alaska here, remember that, over at the apartment? We went out for a walk. And he says, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, she's cheating on me. And I'm thinking to myself, look what you put your ex-wife through. And I was like surprised this is happening. I didn't say it to him. I'm thinking, I felt bad for him. He was stressed out. I don't even think he cares. She was not a good person to him. But he wasn't very good to his wife either. But I don't know. He said, you don't understand the situation between me and my ex-wife. She was horrible. I said, Ron, I'm not judging. You keep telling me stories. He goes, yeah, but don't think that. I said, I'm not thinking anything. I said, yeah, you keep bringing it up. I said, I'm not judging anything. I'm not the person that should be judging anybody. So I don't know, but man, he played a dangerous game.
Dangerous.
I mean, Mike Gerard was the same way. Mike Gerard came in one time. Mike Gerard's married. I don't know if he's still married to her or not. He was married to a Russian girl. And she was a really nice lady. I met her one time. And then Mike Gerard went on vacation. And he came back off of vacation early, I guess, or whatever. But I was at the AMC.
Is Yoda still alive?
I don't know.
I thought you said he's dead.
No, I know he's old. I know Mark Burton, Britton, remember him? I don't think he's alive anymore.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, he told me he had stage 4 cancer, and so I don't know. I haven't heard from him, so I don't know. I didn't like hearing that news, but I liked Mark, man. He was a good guy. Anyway, what was I saying?
Gerard.
Oh yeah, Gerard. I'm eating breakfast at the AMC one morning, and I see Mike Gerard coming in with a young Korean lady. And I said, hey, Mike. And he's like, oh, he's telling her, goes, hey, how's it going, man? He talks real fast. I said, good. I said, how was vacation? Oh, yeah, just got back in. Yeah, it was good. And I kind of looked over, and I seen the Korean girl sitting there, and I was like, must be tired, huh? We're exhausted. I said, yeah. I said, it's really hard on your wife. Yeah, yeah, it's a long flight. Yeah, man, your wife, when she's really tired, she looks Korean. I'll talk to you later, man.
Is that the one with the car that had the roof?
The black car, really sunroof. I don't even know if he has that. I think he got rid of it. I think he sold it.
Yeah, he has a cat.
Oh yeah, he likes cats for some reason. He's over in Okinawa right now. I don't know if he's even married to that Russian lady anymore. I know they bought a house in what do you say? Georgia? No, South Carolina. I think he just sent her there. I like Mike. He was good people too. A little weird, but a good guy. And Manny, he was another one. He was just. Remember, Manny was sitting at the bar one time, and some juicy girl insulted him. Said something. A Korean lady said something kind of insulting, and Manny took his shot of whiskey and threw it in her face. I was like, and he goes, yeah.
Who's with you when you saw a black eye ghost?
Ron. Oh yeah, that was creepy, man. You hear that story? Yeah, that was a demon. That had to have been. And she was just staring Ron down, smiling, and Ron looked. I thought maybe I was like, okay, that's the sun or something. Also, I look at Ron. Here's Ron. He looks at me. He's like. I was like, geez, Ron, don't look obvious that you see it. My God. And all of a sudden, she just kind of turned and just started walking. And that really happened because he saw it. I knew I wasn't imagining it. And it was just early afternoon, too. So yeah, there's evil stuff out there. Man, it's creepy. It was like nobody else noticed it. Nobody else walking by noticed her. It just and then Ron got creeped out because she was staring him right in the eye, just looking right at him, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I just kind of turned around like I didn't notice, and turned around staring at me like. And then she just kind of turned slow and just started walking down the sidewalk. Then she just kind of went around the corner, and that was it. I was like, did you see that? And I said, yeah, I saw it. I said, dude, she was staring right through you. And he said, shut up. And for a long time, he would not even talk about it. Sometimes he still brings it up, though. It's best to stay on God's side. Because I truly believe there are things out there that people don't believe in, but they're there. So if they're there, you know God's there. Oh, man. Creepy. Yeah. Here's Jerry. Old Gerald. Jerry's. I remember him and Gary Walton got into a shouting contest. Him and Jerry did. And, boy, Jerry screamed at him, man. He was just, I don't think he cared if he got fired or not. Gary was just being an idiot, just insulting. Jerry had enough of it. He said something about when Gary was screwed up because he said something they noticed Gary doing that really wasn't fair to everybody else, but he was like treating certain people a certain way, and he brought it out, and he goes, I don't do that. Yes, you do! Yes, you do that! And I'm like, oh my goodness. He was going through a rough time. The mafia was after his wife because she had borrowed money from the mob. She gambled it.
Where's Dan?
He's in California somewhere. Nobody really cares. Dan was Dan. He was kind of a weird guy.
Who that?
Oh, it's hard to say. Probably nothing exciting. No, it's not. News. We gotta stop getting those. Yeah. Well, I'd rather be a new group of people now. Church people. I'd rather be around them than any of those other guys. Of course, don't get me wrong. I still like those other guys.
Who else do you like there?
Hmm?
Who else do you like?
Do I like from Korea? See, there was Ron, there was Manny, there was Mike Gerard, Jerry. Who was another one? Sung. Yep, Sung is getting ready to officially retire. He's still there, but I think he's retiring here within a few weeks. A lot of people are gone. Who's another person that's still there? Haas, I never really had any use for him. He backstabbed me in the back so many times, it wasn't even funny. Remember when he had that broken leg and he couldn't keep up, and he was on a cast. He always wore a leg brace, and they were always putting him on light duty. He would not come out to help them. He was always in the office, and it got to the point where a year had gone by, and he finally management from M1 came and said, "Look, you have got to either get that cast off. If you are not capable of doing your job, we're gonna have to let you go." So of course Gary's gonna protect him. I remember, and they told him, "There's like, we're gonna put you back out on launch. Craig's gonna be on launch with you." Of course, they put him with me, and we're just gonna monitor to see how you were doing. Well, I show up for lunch that day. This one, everybody that I liked stuck up for me. And Haas, he was just sitting on the tug, just watching, and whistling, and I said, "Hey Haas," I said, if you're not too busy, why don't you just go around and just wipe the windows down? I'll take care of everything else. He gets up, he acted like, "Oh man," I said, "Tell you what, Haas, you look like you're in a lot of pain. Sit down. Go sit down. I'll take care of everything." That's it. And then when the plane's launched, you just stand out there and just wave them out. He goes, you don't mind, do you? And I said, "No." I get it. No big deal. So he takes the tug and goes out, sits on the tug to wave the airplanes out. And I'm like, man, this guy's. I didn't care. I'll just do the job. Well, then Gary calls him on the phone. Trying to get him to buy a car still. Anyway, Gary calls him on the phone, tells him he wants to talk to him in the office. "Okay, I gotta go in the hangar." All right, I'll take care of this. Don't worry about it. So he drives up to the thing. Well, Jerry came in early that day. He was up in the office with Mike Gerard, and I think a couple other guys were there. And Haas comes upstairs, and Gary's like, "So how are you hanging out there? How's it going out there?" He goes, "Oh, boss, it's doing good, but I'm trying to keep, Craig's not pulling his fair share of the load out there." He said that, and Jerry's like, "What the?" And Gary's like, "Don't worry, you stay in here. We're gonna put Craig on. We're gonna watch Craig from now on." And then he went back downstairs, and Mike Gerard, Jerry, I think what was that native guy that drowned himself in Korea, committed suicide? Pete. Let's see, who was another? Manny. There were like 5 of them. Went down to where Haas was and said, "Why did you say that? Why did you make that story up to make him look bad just so you'd keep your job? That's messed up." And they were all, he started tearing up. Oh, Ricky was there too. Remember the black guy, Ricky? And Ricky's like, "That's a low thing to do. That is a low thing to do. We work with Craig. We know he works hard." And he got all teary-eyed, and then he goes up to Gary and said, "Hey, Craig is working. I was just scared and everything else, and I was just making it up." You know what Gary's like? "It's okay. We understand you're in a lot of pain." And then Jerry called me and told me what happened. I'm like, "Are you serious?" He goes, "No, we got your back. Don't worry about it." That's when I started talking to Haas. I would not talk to him again.
And then he bought a chicken for everybody, and I don't want the chicken.
Oh, that was
Kevin.
Kevin was there too. Yeah, Kevin was in there too when I. Yeah, he had that. Kevin was on launch, and we were out at Ulsan. He had been there since like 4 a.m, and we came in. What time do we have to come in? 11:30. And Kevin's like, he's just exhausted, and Gary says, "Nobody's leaving until I come out there. I'm gonna have a little meeting with everybody. I'm gonna buy everybody some chicken from Popeyes." And so we go up there, and Kevin just wants to go home. Stupid meeting, which amounted to nothing. And Kevin's like, "I'm out of here. I gotta go home." And Gary's like, "Don't you want to stick around with some chicken?" "I don't want your stupid chicken." That's funny. Gary didn't argue with him. He's like, "Whoa, shoot." Kevin was a big dude, man. He was one of those small, little, short guys. This guy, He was a Marine too at one time. I don't want your stupid chicken.
Doon ka sa labas. Your hair.
Oh.
Cut it. It's hair.
Oh.
Yeah, that was messed up at Household, man. That was just so dirty, just to try to save his butt. And he didn't know anything about those airplanes because they hit him in supply. He didn't have to do anything. And then when they started putting the pressure on him, he came out. He couldn't do anything. But when he made that story up, man, I was trying to help him. You know, I was protecting the guy so he didn't get out and get hurt. I said, I'll take care of this. Just sit up. I wasn't gonna say that he wasn't doing anything. It was gonna be. I wasn't gonna say anything. I was just gonna take care of it. And then he pulled that. Just was like, wow, that was really. And I did confront him after that. He came out and tried to shake my hand. And I said, Haas, I don't want to shake your hand. I don't want to talk to you. Don't bring up anything up anymore. I don't want to work with you anymore. Don't ask me for anything. I said, I heard what you did. It's jacked up. And you can see his eyes watering up again. And I said, you were trying to save your own ass by throwing mine under a bus. And I said, don't approach me for anything anymore. And I was done talking to him after that. Pretty much so was everybody else. And then he transferred somewhere else.
Who is that guy who fixed our...
Oh, that's his name begins with a... How do I not know his name? I want to say it begins with an R.
Ruben.
Ruben, yeah. He was good people too. And Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff. They're Texas. They're from Texas.
I think he's retired now. Who else? Was Alfred, but nobody really liked Alfred all that much. I got along with him okay. He's just a weird guy sometimes. Yeah, Ricky Johnson. That's that guy's name.
Turn that off, Lorena. Cover it.
What was that? His name was Buck, and he lived right across from where. What's that guy's name? The guy's name again?
Ooh.
The one that they found in the river.
Pete.
Pete. He lived right across the street from, not the street, but right across the building from Pete. And Pete always thought there was something in his house, haunting the house. And Buck went out one morning, early in the morning, and was just kind of sitting on his patio, and he was looking toward Pete's house. And he saw an image come out of Pete's house, Pete's apartment. And he said it didn't have a face, didn't look like it had and it just went into another door.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Remember that? That's creepy. And then Pete came back here to Anchorage. I don't know what happened here in Anchorage, but they had the what is it, the federal marshals looking for him. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if he got into it but he goes back to Korea, and he didn't really say anything to anybody. He just says he's literally fighting for his life. And I only heard the story from Ron, and I did not know what happened, but it was a sad story to hear. And then I heard that's when they found him. You know, it was Jerry that told me that. He's the one that contacted me. I was like, wow. I remember Gary trying to set him up too, and I wouldn't go for it because Gary called me up into the office because Pete and I ran one of the airplanes, and Gary didn't like Pete. He wanted him out of here. He was a good dude. I don't know what he had a problem with, but Pete wouldn't put up with any of his BS. Anyway, we're on the airplane and we get done. It was my Friday, and Gary calls me on my day off and says, "Hey, when you coming back to work?" And I said, I'm off for the next 2 days. He goes, "When you come back in, come up in the office and talk to me. I want to talk to you about something." I'm like, "Oh, great. Now what?" And I go upstairs, and he's got this piece of paper sitting down, and I read it. He goes, "We think that he over-torqued an engine when he was running it." And I said, "What do you mean you think?" He goes, were you out there running it with him?" And I said, "Yeah." "Was he the one actually doing the run?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, the way I heard it, it sounded like the engine got over-torqued." I said, "You're telling me you can hear when an engine gets over-torqued?" I said, "There's no way that you cannot." And I read the thing, and I said, I was watching all those gauges, and none of the gauges were out of parameters. Everything was right where they were supposed to be. I said, he didn't over-torque anything. He said, "Well, I just need you to sign this." And I pushed it back. I said, I'm not signing it. I said, "I'm not going to do it." "So you're saying you're not going to sign it?" I said, "I'll say it again. I'm not doing it. I am not going to throw that man under the bus." I told him. He did nothing wrong, as far as I saw. "Okay, you can get up and go." And I never brought it up again. That was messed up, wasn't it? And then he came back later, and he thanked me for sticking up for him. I didn't bring it up anymore. I said, I'm just like, I'm not. And Gary kind of had it in for me after that. I was like, "You don't do that." And I told him, I said, don't do that to him. He didn't do anything wrong. I said, you cannot hear if an engine gets over-torqued. I said, "I don't know why you're doing this." I said, "But leave me out of it. You're keeping me out of this." That was dirty what they were trying to do. So he couldn't use me to do it. And he asked another person to go up, and that person wasn't even in the airplane with him. And that person's like, "No, I can't. I wasn't in the airplane." And then Song pulled the computer out of the back of the airplane that would tell you. And he says the computer wasn't working right. And he says, but there was nothing over-torqued in there. Which is messed up. I don't know why he played that game, but he got his when he got over to King. He could not keep up, and he was having a rough time over there. That was dirty what he tried to do. I thought that was so messed up.